Good afternoon, sirs.
Yeah, take a seat. Abhimanyu,
Yes, sir.
Malik. Very good name. So, welcome to the mock interview, Abhimanyu.
Sir, please pardon.
Welcome to the mock interview.
Thank you, sir.
Abhimanyu.
Yes, sir.
It reminds me about actually one more Abhimanyu.
Yes, sir.
Who can be that Abhimanyu?
Sir, Abhimanyu was a character in the epic Mahabharata. He was the son of Arjun, known for his act of bravery and courage.
What was his role in Mahabharata?
Sir, he was fighting on the side of Pandavas, and he displayed great courage and also was instrumental in entering the Chakravyuh. And he was the only person except Arjun who could enter the Chakravyuh.
Only enter,
Yes, sir. And
not to come out.
yes, sir. He did not know the art of coming out of the Chakravyuh.
What was the reason?
Sir, there's a backstory to it. When Lord Krishna was, when Arjun was telling the art of entering and exiting the Chakravyuh to his wife Subhadra.
So who stopped actually? Pandavas all were there except Arjun with him. So how they could not actually make an entry along with Abhimanyu?
Sir, on that day, Jayadratha had he had a blessing from Lord Shiva that he except Arjun, he would not he can take on all the Pandavas and would not let them move ahead in the war. So he utilized that.
So
blessing.
only on that day, or he was given that blessing forever?
Sir, only on that day.
Only for one day.
Yes, sir.
Acha, good. PSIR,
Yes, sir.
good subject. Which political thinker you find close to your thinking and ideology?
Sir, I believe Aristotle is one thinker which I subscribe to the most as far as my own political thinking or thinking is concerned.
So all his ideas you like.
Sir, not all his ideas, but the basic essence behind the ideas.
For example,
Uh,
which are the ideas you like the most in Aristotle?
Sir, he's a very practical thinker and he calls for a balance and to avoid extremities. And that's why he calls for reforms of institutions rather than abolishing the same. So I believe even in real life, that's a very important virtue to have because just doing away with things.
But people criticize him a lot. For what?
Uh, sir, his theory of slavery, which he justifies that slavery is natural and is also beneficial to the slaves. So that part of his political thinking is criticized a lot.
Any other thing which is happening even in your home state? The second thing which he advocated.
Sir, not providing the political rights or the citizenship rights to the women and subordinating them to the males. He's also criticized for that.
Okay, good. Now tell us, you have a lot of Babas in Haryana, Abhimanyu. What is their role actually? Their ashrams have become actually shelter for, antisocial elements, and they are doing all sorts of illegal acts. What is your view?
Sir, there is a Baba culture in Haryana, I would say. There are certain deras also, like in Sirsa we have the Dera Sacha Sauda and other things. The main reason for their prevalence is, so they provide solutions or people perceive that they are providing solutions to their daily life problems. And that's why, because some people become followers and then other people through hearsay, they also join the league. Because, sir, at the end of the day, they are more people
Okay,
frustrated
in
than
nutshell,
happy.
tell me whether they are asset to the society or they are liability. Yes, no.
Uh, Sir, I would say it would be too general to say in a yes or no, because we cannot generalize every uh, religious preacher to be an asset or
No,
liability.
no, we
It's
are talking about Babas only, not the other preachers.
Sir, still it would be not correct to say that every Baba is a liability or an asset. It only depends on what he is preaching. So if he is preaching good things and is in the constitutional, which fits well into the constitutional and legal domains, then they may be assets because they also serve the
So, all the
spiritual.
cases of rape, murder filed against them and they are in the jail are wrong. All the cases filed by the police against them
Yes, sir.
are wrong cases if they are asset.
No, sir, they are absolutely right because some of them have also led to convictions. So the police had enough evidence against the Babas, and that is certainly.
So, they are criminal. So, if you are a criminal, how you can be asset to the society?
So certainly the people, the Babas who have been charged with criminal acts, they cannot be an asset to the society because what they are preaching, and they are doing things exactly contrary to it. So they cannot be good examples to the society. But only those Babas which may be satiating the spiritual needs of the people and not doing anything contrary to law.
Can you give example of 2, 3 Babas who according to you are assets in Haryana and doing all good spiritual things?
Sorry, sir, I'm.
Then how you can say actually that they are asset to the society?
Sir, I'm not.
I am giving you example. There are criminal cases of rape, murder. There are numerous sections of Indian Penal Code and other sections filed against them, charge sheets. So you give me actually evidence of assets.
Sir, I would not say specifically to Haryana.
We are talking about Haryana Babas.
Sir,
National level we are not going.
Sir, for Haryana, my knowledge is limited
Okay,
in this regard, sir.
Thank you very much. Abhimanyu, you were talking about Abhimanyu and Mahabharata. In that context, Sonipat also seems to have a very illustrious history.
Yes, sir.
What?
Sir, Sonipat was part of the 5 villages that were demanded by the Pandavas in lieu of the Hastinapur
Okay.
and Indraprasth. Sir, Hastinapur in lieu of Hastinapur. So there the name Sonprasth comes in, which is believed to be present day Sonipat.
Very good. Now, you have done PSIR as an optional.
Yes, sir.
Let me come to international relations part of it. What was the main element of the Westphalian Treaty?
Sir, the main element of the Westphalian Treaty was the sovereignty of states. Now, that has to be of pivotal importance and that has to be ensured by all means.
No, there is one difference. Uh-huh. So things were called sovereign even before that. So there is something beyond sovereignty.
Sir, there we also see emergence of nation states in the Westphalian Treaty and also the balance of power
Yes.
was the main
Nation states on the basis of what?
sir territorial
Exactly.
yes sir.
Territorial boundaries.
Yes, sir.
Now, my question to you is in the current context of the way the world is going, do you think territorial boundaries or the geographical boundaries are outdated and we should get onto the different concept of defining sovereignty now? Globalization, social media,
Yes, sir.
internet access, censorship doesn't work, information goes through to everyone. So most of the instruments of sovereignty and territorial integrity are now passé. Now tell me.
Sir, in the globalized era that we are into currently, many of the boundaries have blurred. And there are also global concerns emerging, be it the climate change, the rise of terrorism, and in recent times, the rise of artificial intelligence, communication flows. Now, for that, the governance architecture should go towards a model of pooled sovereignty. Like, sir, what we have in the European Union, for certain aspects, they have a kind of pooled sovereignty in certain functional domains. But still, I believe, sir, territorial integrity is required, and it's also fiercely protected. So I do not see a withering away of that.
It is also what protected PFC? Sorry?
Sir, the territorial integrity,
Uh-huh.
it's also fiercely protected by the.
Fiercely protected.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. And because there has to be a territory in order for any government to undertake schemes or projects and for law and order operations.
Okay. So basically, either pooled sovereignty like the European Union, United Nations?
Yes, sir. United Nations is thought of as an organization where certain areas, the United Nations should emerge sovereign. And but currently the situation is not so conducive because there are disagreements between the P5 and also among the countries. But yes, in the long run, sir, for
Okay.
global concerns, we should move towards such a
Okay.
model.
Palestine.
Yes,
In
sir.
the case of the pooled sovereign, the territorial integrity. How do you look at Palestine? Sovereign, non sovereign, country, state, or not?
Sir, Palestine I see as a known sovereign nation, but not a state.
Non sovereign nation.
Yes, sir.
What is a non sovereign nation?
Sir, non-sovereign nation, as in that it does not have absolute powers to for towards a particular territory.
Mhm.
It cannot ensure a law and order for its a particular area. It's still under a lot of intervention from a foreign or the other state. But it has the feeling of oneness that it wants to emerge as a nation state. So it has that oneness, which that's why it's a nation. But it's not sovereign because it cannot impose upon or it does not have absolute powers with respect to its own territory.
Or, but it has a territory.
Sir, it has a territory, but
Is Gaza part of its territory?
yes, sir, Gaza is a part of that territory.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Poonam ji.
Ji sir, thank you. Abhimanyu,
Yes, ma'am.
while you were discussing with the chair, you made a statement that Abhimanyu is a character in Mahabharata.
Yes, ma'am.
Is he a character? Is he a person? Fiction? What is it?
Ma'am, as far as the ma'am, since Mahabharata is an epic, it's a book written by.
It's a history or it is fiction? It is religion? What is it?
Ma'am, there are still contradictions about the historical veracity of Mahabharata. There are certain evidences that people claim to have coming from the Mahabharata, but still the information that comes to us is more from the book rather than from archaeological
All right.
evidence.
So, what is the learning from Mahabharata? Is there any learning? One single learning from Mahabharata which you've been able to understand?
Ma'am, one single learning from Mahabharata it would be that sometimes kinship should be preferred over kingship, because what we see in Mahabharata is there is a tussle for power, and there is also adharma, and where the kingship ties they have been made subordinate to the will to kingship. So somewhere this I believe, ma'am, can be the
would be
message
the
which
main
we
learning for
find
you.
in Ramayana.
All right. So now the conversation between Shri Krishna and Arjun, how do you define that? Is that a sermon or a dialogue?
Ma'am, it's a dialogue because Arjun asks many doubts that he has. So it's a dialogue, ma'am.
It's a dialogue according to you. All right. Now, cups. What is the basic purpose with which the cups were set up?
Ma'am, the basic purpose for setting up of calves was to was to pronounce upon the performing the judicial functions in the villages, also instilling good values in the
Judicial
society.
functions in which areas?
Ma'am, like the local customs and norms. So to enforce them, harps were used as a platform, and also instilling good values to the people around and make norms uh, for functioning of the society.
Not for land disputes.
Uh, Sorry, ma'am, I'm not aware about this.
Not for safeguarding the territory from outside, which is irrelevant today. But initially, when it was set up, was this also one of the aims?
Yes, ma'am, to also prevent against invasions. So this was one of.
So, in the present day context, is the CARP overstepping the initial role which was given to it?
Ma'am, I believe yes.
In the context of love jihad?
Yes, ma'am. Certainly, in some pronouncements of the Khabs, I believe, ma'am, that they have overstepped, and certain extra constitutional pronouncements they have made.
Extrajudicial.
Yes, ma'am, and they have been uh, also criticized for the same, especially when it comes to love marriages and social ostracization, and also calling for honor killings. So one or two instances have been there also.
Okay. Now, when I look at your DAF, I see a lot of sports. Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
So you seem to have a bent of mind for sports. Now, this is a service which you are aiming for. So how do you reconcile the two?
Ma'am, I believe that sports provides us a lot of lessons and a lot of traits that are required for even civil services.
So which are those? 1, 2, 3.
Ma'am, first trait I would say is the leadership qualities that sports provide. Second, I believe, is the maintaining one's calm and composure in tumultuous times.
Balance, okay.
And third would be, ma'am, decision making and a quick decision making. So these three traits one learns from sports, and it's also
Not fair play?
Yes, ma'am. Fair play also is one.
So that is an add-on, or that is number one?
Ma'am, I would not be in a position to rate the two, but certainly in the top 3-4. It would
All
be.
right. So what, according to you, are the top 3 qualities which a civil servant needs to have? Because you have been in NABARD all along.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes? Which is very different from what you are now looking at. What are the 3 basic traits or qualities which a civil servant needs to have?
My first trait, apart from skill set, one needs to have empathy. Second, one needs to be responsive to the stakeholders. And third, again, ma'am, would be decision making.
All right.
In crunch
Anything
situations.
beyond this, which is very important for a civil servant?
Ma'am, integrity.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Honesty and integrity. Yes. Let's move on now, because IR is one of your subjects. So, if I say that Russia is losing the battle for the Black Sea, what is this emergency shipping corridor?
Sorry, ma'am.
No
I
idea.
need to read
All
upon
right.
it.
My last question. 64 countries during 2024 have either had elections or are heading towards elections. So does it make the world a very democratic place? If you see all around you, functionings are very democratic.
Ma'am, holding or having elections and being democratic are two different things. First, ma'am, it's a coincidence that maximum number of elections are happening in 2024. So maybe some countries have a 5-year system, 4-year system. So that is one thing.
All right.
Second, ma'am, even in certain countries where elections are happening, they cannot be construed to be a perfect democracies, or they are
Name
not.
one or two.
Ma'am, first being Pakistan itself, where
Okay.
yes, ma'am.
Accepted.
Ma'am, Russia again. Ma'am, there are allegations that.
All right. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Abhimanyu. So you have a sports. You like sports,
Yes, sir.
right? Played table tennis. You played volleyball. you played cricket, right?
Yes, sir.
But I can also see that you sporting a paunch.
Yes, sir.
How does it go, the two together?
Sir, unfortunately, I have not been keeping up much with the sports now. So I try to find time for it, but sometimes the official engagements and these things but I definitely needs to work upon it. So I'll try to find some time for sports.
So Abhimanyu knew how to break into the Chakravyuh, but not to come out of it. How many people in the Mahabharata battle knew how to break the Chakravyuh and come out of it successfully?
Sir, I'm not aware about the number
You
of
haven't
people.
read the story?
Sir, for certain, Lord Krishna, Bhishma Pitama, Dronacharya, Arjun. Uh, these are the four that I know that they knew the art of entering and coming out, sir. The rest of the warriors I'm not aware about.
Karn?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Tell me, how is the President of India elected?
Sir, the President of India is elected through an electoral college, basically comprising of the members of the Lok Sabha, the Rajya Sabha, minus the nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the members of legislative assemblies. And sir, there is a quota provided to each member.
How is that quota arrived at?
Sir, it is based upon the sir. First is that the quota of the MPs, the total quota of the MPs is equal to the total quota of all the MLAs.
Quota or value?
Sir, the value. Thank you, sir, for correcting me. The value of the value of vote is equal in both. Then, sir, it is ascertained for that particular
How do you
legislature.
arrive at this value?
Sir, first, the total population of the state. Uh, Sir, it is divided by the number of legislative assembly seats
Okay.
and further divided by 1000.
Okay. Now you said all the nominated members of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Do you still have nominated members in Lok Sabha?
Sir, currently, with the constitutional amendment, that has been done away with. We do not have any nominated members in Lok Sabha now.
How many members of Lok Sabha are there now?
Sir, 543.
And in Rajya Sabha?
Sir, 245.
Elected members.
Sir, 233.
Good. What's the difference between, major difference between the election of President of India and the Vice President of India?
So the major difference is that for the election of president, the electoral college also comprises of members of the legislative assemblies, whereas in case of vice president, only the members of the parliament are included in the electoral college.
That's difference number one. What is the major difference number two?
Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall at the moment.
The nominated members also vote in the case of Vice President of India.
Thank you, sir.
What does AFSPA stand for?
Sir, AFSPA stands for Armed Forces Special Power Act.
Special Powers Act.
Yes, sir.
And what are these special powers? And to whom it is given and in what circumstances?
Sir, the special powers include the power for search and seizures, the power to also open fires, and also certain immunities are provided for actions taken in with bona fide intentions. The powers are provided to the central armed forces, sir, the paramilitary, and also the army. And
When and where?
sir, AFSPA is currently
No, when and where these powers are given to Central Armed Police Forces and the Army, where and when?
Sir, when there is a disturbance, some kind of insurgency or terrorism in a particular area, so deal with such circumstances where it is felt that the state police forces uh, are not able to handle the situation properly. So to assist them and to properly handle such situations.
That's fine, but that area will have to be notified.
Yes, sir.
What is this called?
Sorry, sir, I'm not aware about this.
The area is declared disturbed, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes.
How many Central Armed Police Forces are there?
Sir, I'm able to recall 6 of them.
List them.
The Central Reserve Police Force, the Central Industrial Security Force, the Border Security Force, the Indo-Tibetan Police Force, and sir, the Indo-Tibetan Border Police Force, and then Sashastra Seema Bal and Assam Rifles.
National Security Guard.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Abhimanyu,
Yes,
on
sir.
similar lines, what kind of borders do we share with Pakistan? They're given different names, different sectors. What are they?
Sir, the border with Pakistan, sir, it is international borders in some area.
Which area?
Sir, in areas of Punjab, Rajasthan, Gujarat. Sir,
Why?
Sir, because they have been demarcated during the times of partition. But sir, the border that currently we have, I would not say it a border, sir, but the ceasefire line that we have is called as LOC, line of control, in case of the territories of Jammu and Kashmir.
Okay, what else? That's all.
Yes, sir.
Think beyond Gujarat, you'll get one more. And then there is one more further north.
Sorry, sir, I'm unable to recollect it.
No
this
problem. All right, moving on. Can you name some modern day Indian political scientists?
Sir, one of the prominent modern day political scientists is Professor MP Singh, and second would be, I would say, Pratap Bhanu Mehta to some
Okay.
extent. And there are many in the IR domain, but political scientists, sir, I'm only aware.
Not paying too much attention to political science. No problem. Anyways, now, which is the oldest or recognized oldest subject in the world?
Sir, I'm not.
You mentioned Aristotle. That's why I thought of this question.
Sir, Aristotle happens to be the father of many subjects.
Any political science?
Yes, sir.
Who is his predecessor
Sir, Plato.
and his?
Sir, Socrates.
Now tell me.
Sir, philosophy. Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on. How was the subprime crisis resolved?
Sir, subprime crisis was mainly resolved because that led to a lot of banking failures. The first thing, sir, and then
How was it resolved?
so a lot of stimulus packages was given by the economies. Like the US announced the biggest fiscal stimulus package to tackle the crisis.
What is the term?
Sir, for what the US
You're in the sector. That's why I'm asking you for a more specific and more technical term. More liquidity was infused in the market.
Yes, sir.
Simple. That's how it was resolved.
Yes, sir.
Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Moving on. What is Red Cross?
Sir, Red Cross is an international organization that mainly caters to providing medical assistance during wars and also undertaking various awareness campaigns for various disease and also helping the government in disaster management efforts.
Disaster management. Red Cross.
Yes, sir.
What is Red Crescent?
Sir, Red Crescent is also a similar organization. Sir, in some of the countries, it is either the Red Cross or the Red Crescent organization.
Why?
Sir, Red Crescent mainly came into being because of the Muslim countries. So, crescent was the sign that was provided, except because cross was deemed to be a Christian sign.
Acha.
Yes, sir.
Final question. Who's India's best friend?
Sir, if I have to name one country, then it would be Russia.
Russia. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
So Abhimanyu, we will call you for feedback session after 5 minutes. Wait in the waiting room.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Take a seat, Abhimanyu.
Thank you, sir.
Tell us, how was the mock?
Sir, I believe I could have done better.
Better in which areas?
There's certain factual questions which I was able to recollect when I went out, sir.
Like,
So, like the questions related to the boundaries, the AGPL and Siachen, sir, and I guess the maritime boundaries are Creek.
Correct.
So, I could only recall them once I moved out.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Maybe, sir, I could have been more structured with my interview.
See. And when you will grade yourself on a scale of good, very good, outstanding?
Sir, I would rate somewhere between good and very good.
Good and very good. When is the interview?
Sir, the date is yet to be out.
Good. So time is on your side. God is giving you time. Abhimanyu, work hard. You will make it. So I give you more time. So God is helping you. Take full advantage of that. How many mocks you have appeared?
Sir, 7-8 mocks so far.
7, 8. And what is the advice given in the earlier mocks?
Sir, some of the advices were like to upgrade or update myself with the knowledge part in certain areas. Others said that just structure it properly.
Good. So let me give you our feedback and assistant, which might help you in
Yes, sir.
further improving your interview skills on behalf of all the members. Number one is that as per our assessment, you are very good as of now, today.
Yes, sir.
But you can move up to outstanding because time is there. And if you follow the advice which I am going to give you, you can make it to IAS civil service. There is no doubt about it. Number one, read newspapers daily in the morning without fail. One should be national daily. When you read the newspapers, look for the news items related to your DEF entries. If there is some news item in the newspaper which is relating to your DEF entries, make notes of that, revise it.
Yes, sir.
Number two, make good questions on your DEF, say around 20-25 questions. Write down the answers on a one-page sheet in your own handwriting and revise it every third or fourth day. In that process, if you want to take a help of your friend who has either appeared or appearing for the interview, you must take. Because sometimes not all the questions will come to your mind. So you can seek help from your friend. Your DEF is your X-ray. It has your all the academic background, your optional, your family background, your home state, your interest, your hobbies, your awards, your service preferences, your cadre preferences. Everything is there in the DEF. So concentrate on DEF, both DEF 1, DEF 2, and also devote substantial time on current affairs.
Yes, sir.
Increase your knowledge base, be logical, be aware of the basic important provisions of the Indian Constitution and special laws meant for the protection and welfare of the children, women, senior citizen, SC, STs.
Yes, sir.
Along with legal provisions, you also see what are the institutions to safeguard interest of these weaker sections. So be aware about all the institutions which are working for their welfare. Then the important schemes including flagship schemes of Government of India. You must know at least half a dozen very important schemes. What is the substantial outlay for those schemes? Suppose I ask MG Narega, what is the outlay? You should know that.
Yes, sir.
Can you guess?
Sir, it is around 90,000 crore.
Yeah, it may not be 90, but it will be around 70,000 plus.
Yes, sir.
It has always remained 50,000, 60, 70,000. So you must know actually the outlay of important schemes.
Yes, sir.
Then their coverage should be wide, the schemes which you have to learn.
Yes, sir.
And what is the process of identification of the beneficiaries,
Yes, sir.
and how the benefits will be transferred to the beneficiaries.
Yes, sir.
So this one plus the economy, the budget, India's relationship with the neighboring countries, the foreign policy, the conflict zones, and in those conflict zones, what is the role of the UN and UN bodies,
Yes.
and what is India's stand on those conflicts. You must know this. You are in NABARD, assistant regional manager, very important positions, drawing almost 2 lakh per month. You will have to give a good reason why to leave actually this job and want to join civil service. Very honest, good argument, which should be logical.
Yes, sir.
When a question is asked, take few seconds, then structure it, then give the answer. The most important point should come first, not at the second or third place. Be attentive all the time. If a panel member is asking question, there is a definite purpose of asking that question and you should be very alert about it. Unless you reach to that level, there will be supplementaries. And don't guess, because that guess may take you in a different direction and you will fall into trap for no reason. So if you are not sure, should say sorry sir or sorry ma'am, I am not able to recollect at this moment. वो निकल जाना है वहाँ से. Don't enter into an argument because it will be wastage of your time. This 25 to 30 minutes is your time. It is not panel's time. So you have to make of each and every minute of that. And if you are not able to answer few questions, it will not go against you. It will not affect your overall scoring. No board ever assesses a candidate on the basis of questions you have not answered. You will be assessed on the basis of quality, your reasoning, your knowledge. You will be assessed on that basis. So be honest, straightforward. Whatever you have, see, some of the questions were asked directly from your DEF, including sports. You must actually read and have a good command over this. Because Haryana is known for sports, and sports is your hobby, you have mentioned in the DEF. So be strong on that. And last, never defend something about which you are not very sure. Defend something or someone about whom you are very sure, and when you are defending, always keep provision of law in your mind. You have to take side of law in Indian constitution, nothing else. Nothing else matter. So on any complex subject, take side of the constitutional provisions and law. What the law says. Whether it is Baba, whether it is Khap, anything else. Because what will happen if you start justifying something and not having data, not having actually arguments to support that, you will find it difficult. So whenever you feel that my knowledge is limited to this much, then say, sir, I know only this much. Then you will get new question. So be alert all the time. Personality is good. You are already in very good job. Your dress is good, but I think tie is slightly shorter. Can you just stand up? I mean, it is slightly shorter.
Yes, sir.
So it can be, I think, 2.5. No, sir?
2.5 inches at least.
2.5.
The lower tip of the tie should come to, it should about cover the buckle,
Right, sir.
buckle of the belt, or at least come to the middle of the buckle.
Middle of the belt.
Right, sir.
2.5 inches should be good.
And I'd like
Fine,
to
sir.
add one more thing. The moment you entered, you were such a
Sit
handsome
down.
and
Please sit down.
a very
sit down?
personable person.
Yes, sir.
But because of the baby fat,
Yes, sir.
it is giving a wrong impression, especially in view of the fact that you have been a sportsman, sports
Yes.
person. So what you do, you can't do anything about your baby fat in the next 15, 20 days. But you can have you can afford, buy a loose trouser or
Loose
something,
trouser.
which will cover it.
Sir, I have one for the occasion, but I have preserved it for the main day.
Fair
But
enough.
wear it for few days before
In the
interview.
meantime, we'll
Yes,
gain
sir.
more
Get
weight.
used to it.
Get used to
Don't
it.
gain more weight in the meantime then, huh?
Yes, sir.
And shave,
Yeah.
comb your hair properly.
Yes, sir.
And it should, you should be presentable. It's a formal occasion. Interview is a very formal thing. So you should be formally presentable to the board members, right?
Yes, sir.
And you look tired. Sorry, just one. I'll take barely a minute. You look tired. Don't look so tired. Even if you're tired, you have to look more cheerful. Number one. Number two, in the case of Haryana, gender-based issues are very important. Haryana, UP, Rajasthan. So somebody could ask you a question on the gender-based issues, particularly from a social point of view.
Yes, sir.
Okay, prepare for that.
Keep your energy level high.
Sure, sir.
I'd like to add
Yeah,
something.
Puram.
On the issue of Babas and Khaps, these are not very easy questions. So don't defend anything. Just say that, just read into what used to be the role of Babas in the traditional way. The new, setups are very controversial, are very questionable. But what was the traditional role? You can say this was it. However, it has now deviated into this kind of a role. And as if they are doing some unlawful activity, law will take its own course. In case of Khaps also, just read what was the tradition. It was basically the land issues. Okay? And
Yes, ma'am.
now they are more into social issues. So just delineate the traditional from the modern. And don't comment on right or wrong. See how it is. Present both the sides of the thing
Yes, ma'am.
and get out of it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank you, ma'am.
If you have any question, any doubt, you can ask any of the panel member.
Sir, I think perhaps I've been given a very detailed feedback.
And just refer to the recordings.
Yes, sir.
But you will do well
You should do well.
because you have answered quite tough questions. So you will do very well. But work hard.
Yes, sir.
This next 1.5 months or 2 months is your time.
Yes, sir.
Work hard, and our assessment is that you will get into it. How is your written?
Sir, I believe better than the last time.
Last time.
Yes, sir.
What was the score?
Sir, last time,
Huh.
sir, I got overall score of 957,
57.
764 in mains and 193 in interview.
190.
193 in the interview.
Yes, ma'am.
But you, 193 is a very good score.
967 total, so you
Outstanding. You
lost
should have made it last time
just
only.
by a few
No,
marks.
But I think in the written,
Written actually
Yeah.
must have
No, I got
scored
into
less.
Danix last year. I've already been allocated Danix.
You already allocated
Yes,
Danix.
sir.
Good. But work hard. You
should
have
get into
capacity
the
to score more than 200.
IAS.
All right. Anyway,
Yeah.
all the best to you.
Thank you, sir.
So all the best, Abhimanyu. You will
Thank
do
you,
well. Okay.
Thank you.
All
Thank
the
you.
best. Thank you.